It was summer 2018. I was driving from Reno to Flagstaff after visiting my sister. I like driving at night. Less traffic, less noise. But that night, I made a mistake. I stopped at a small gas station around 1:30 a.m. Grabbed coffee, used the bathroom, filled the tank. The guy behind the counter didn't speak, just stared like I wasn't really there. Whatever. It was late. I left. The road was dead. No headlights in either direction, just me, highway lines, and desert silence. About 20 minutes out, I glanced in the rearview mirror, and I saw her, a woman, sitting in my backseat. I almost swerved off the road, heart pounding. I turned around, nothing there, backseat empty. But every time I looked in the mirror, she was there again. Long black hair, pale skin, staring. She was still there, closer now, her face clearer. She wasn't blinking. The road felt endless. I stopped looking at the mirror, focused on the lines, the darkness ahead. But the air in the car felt wrong. Heavy, cold. When I finally reached Flagstaff around 5 a.m., I parked under a streetlight. Looked one last time into the mirror. She was gone. But behind me, on the back window, was a handprint. Pressed from the inside, still warm. I sold that car a month later. I drive for a living. Most people hate that part. The long hours, the isolation. But I like the silence. I like watching the country blur past my windshield. Until Kansas, it was the third week of October. I was cutting west on I-70, trying to make it to Colorado before midnight. But the road started to blur, and I knew I had to stop. Fighting sleep is a losing game. So when I saw the sign, rest stop number 13 to 2 miles, I turned in without thinking, didn't even register the number. It was one of those older rest stops. Concrete building, humming lights, cracked sidewalk. There were 2 trucks parked in the far corner, engines off. I didn't see any drivers. I pulled into the nearest spot and got out. The night air was colder than I expected. The women's restroom was lit by flickering fluorescent tubes. Tile floor, the kind of yellow walls that look beige in the dark. One mirror was cracked, another was fogged. There were 5 stalls. I took the second. That's when I heard it. Creak, drag, clunk. Something scraping across tile. Heavy, like a metal object being pulled slowly. It came from the last stall. I froze, bent down. No feet. The scraping got closer. I stood and backed up toward the sink, heart thudding. Then came 3 knocks from inside that last stall. Sharp, deliberate. I ran. I burst through the door and sprinted to my car. The scraping got closer. I stood and backed up toward the sink, heart thudding. Then came 3 knocks from inside that last stall. Sharp, deliberate. I ran. I burst through the door and sprinted to my car. 3 greasy fingerprints on the dashboard, like someone had rested a hand there. I jumped in, locked the doors, floored it. I didn't stop until I reached a gas station 40 miles west. Parked under bright lights, didn't sleep that night. 3 days later, I was in a sheriff's office in Russell. I asked an old deputy about rest stop number 13. He stared at me and said, "You stopped there?" Folks used to go missing off that stretch in the 80s. Always the same pattern. Always that store. I asked him what was inside. He just said, "Don't knock back." When you grow up in the hills of West Virginia, you learn how to navigate backroads, even in the dark, even alone. That Sunday night in March, I left my buddy's hunting cabin around 11:45. Figured I'd be home by 2 if I took Route 16, the winding to lane road that cuts through the trees like a scar. It's beautiful by day, but at night, it feels wrong. Around midnight, I saw headlights in my mirror. An old rust-colored pickup, no front plate. At first, I thought it was someone trying to pass. So I slowed down, pulled a little to the right. But he didn't pass. He stayed behind me, too close. Then the high beams came on, blinding. He tailed me for 5 miles, every turn, every hill. I sped up. He matched me. I turned onto an unmarked road I barely knew. Gravel, no lights, just to see if he'd follow. He did. At one point, I thought I lost him. The mirror was empty. No lights behind me. Relieved, I pulled over near an old gas station that had been closed for years. It had a flickering Coke sign still nailed above the empty storefront. I cut the engine, rolled down the window. Silence. Just crickets and wind. Then I looked up. The truck was already there, parked behind the building. No headlights, no engine noise. Just sitting. I never saw it pass. That's when I heard gravel crunching, slow footsteps, coming toward me. I turned the key, praying the car would start. It did. I hit the gas, drove until the sun came up. When I got home, I checked the trunk. In the layer of pollen and dust, someone had drawn one word with a fingertip: stay. Not carved, just written. I still don't know who that driver was, or how he got there first. But I know this: he didn't want me leaving.